In this video, I am going to explain about principle and instrumentation of HPLC. HPLC is nothing but high performance liquid chromatography or high pressure liquid chromatography. Okay, let's see the principle and instrumentation of HPLC. Okay, here high performance liquid chromatography. First one is the principle. Okay, principle. The principle involved in HPLC is adsorption. Okay, adsorption. Whenever we see the term, I already explained in one of my video that whenever we see the term adsorption means we have to write the principle according to the relative affinity towards the stationary phase only. Okay, then the principle involved in HPLC is adsorption. Okay, let's see, when mixture of components are introduced into the column, they travel according to their relative affinity towards the stationary phase. Relative affinity towards the stationary phase. Okay, mixture of components when we are introduced into the column, they travel according to their relative affinity towards the stationary phase. The component which is having more affinity towards the stationary phase travels slower and eluted later. Okay, the component which is having more affinity, okay, which has more affinity towards the stationary phase, it travels slower and eluted later because it will bind to the stationary phase. Okay, binds to the stationary phase and it will retain more time in the column. That's why it is travels very slowly through the mobile phase and eluted later. Then the component which has less affinity towards the stationary phase travels faster. Okay, travels faster and eluted fast. The thing is, if the component having less affinity towards the stationary phase means the component which is having more affinity towards the mobile phase, in that means. Okay, less affinity towards the stationary phase means, okay, it then it will travels faster through the column and elute fast. Okay, then it will here for this compound we will get peak first, then after this compound. Okay, here since no two components have same affinity for the fixed combination of stationary and mobile phase, no two components having same affinity. Okay, same affinity for the fixed combination of stationary phase and mobile phase. Hence, then two components will be separated. This is the principle of HPLC. Okay, then coming to instrumentation, here this is the black diagram of HPLC. First I will explain working principle. Okay, working principle of HPLC by using this diagram. Let's see the important parts of HPLC. Okay, first part is solvent reservoir, and second part is degasser, and third part is solvent mixing valve, and fourth one is HPLC pump, and fifth one is God column, and sixth one is sample injector, and seventh one is analytical column, and eighth one is detector, and ninth one is recorder. Okay, let's see the working principle. Here, solvent reservoir. The name itself indicating solvent reservoir. Reservoir means a storage of water. Here, storage of solvent means solvent reservoir is used to store the mobile phase. Solvent reservoir is used to store the mobile phase. Here, for suppose here I mentioned two bottles. Means in one of the bottle we may take one solvent. In another bottle we may take another solvent. Based on the requirement, we may also use three kinds of bottles. Means three kinds of solvent we will take in different proportion. Like that. Solvent reservoir are used to store the mobile phase. Okay. Then what is the second one? Degasser. Degasser name itself indicating degassing means here it is used to remove gas or air bubbles. From where here degasser are used to remove gases or air bubbles which are present in the solvent. Okay, if the solvent or mobile phase consists gases or air bubbles means it will be removed by using degasser. Okay, degasser. Here, otherwise, what will happen? These air bubbles or gas, if present in the mobile phase means it will interfere with the sample analysis. You cannot get proper separation. That is the thing. Then solvent mixing valve. Then after degassing the solvent, then we have to the solvent mixing valve. Nothing but we have to mix the both whatever solvent we are using. Solvent mixing valve is used to mix the various kinds of solvent in different proportion to get homogeneous solvent system. Okay, a solvent mixing valve name itself indicating after degassing the various solvents we will use now. Here this kind of solvent has to be mixed properly. Okay, to get homogeneous solvent system. Then HPLC pump. HPLC pump is nothing but What is the purpose? Here pump it is used to deliver the mobile phase. It is used to deliver the mobile phase at high pressure. Used to deliver the mobile phase at high pressure and with the required flow rate. And with the required flow rate. Pump is used to deliver the mobile phase at high pressure and with the required flow rate. That is the HPLC pump. Okay, importance of a pump. Then coming to guard column. What is the importance of guard column here? Name itself indicating that guard, nothing but protecting. Okay, here the main purpose of guard column, it is used to protect the analytical column. Main purpose of guard column, it is used to protect the analytical column. Means it will enhances or it will increases the life of analytical column, or it will increases the efficiency of analytical column. How it will protect? How it will increase the efficiency of analytical column means here means if mobile phase, okay, if mobile phase consists any impurities or any unwanted substances means it will be removed in the guard column. It will be removed in the guard column. Whatever the impurities present in the mobile phase, it will be removed. Here otherwise if there is no guard column means, okay, here impurities will interfere with the analysis. We cannot get proper separation. By that way, it will enhance the performance of analytical column. Here, this guard column, it is made up of same material as that of analytical column. Here you can see here guard column is small in size and analytical column is somewhat larger as compared to guard column. Then sample injector. Then and one more important thing is in the guard column no separation takes place. There is no separation takes place in the guard column. Only in analytical column only separation will be takes place. That is the thing. Then sample injector. Here sample will be injected. Here the sample mixture sample will be injected here. Then at this position the mobile phase passing through guard column will mix with this sample and both together will pass through the analytical column. Both together will pass through the analytical column. Here in the analytical column only the separation of separation of sample will be takes place based on the relative effect towards the stationary phase. Okay. Then detector. Here after separation taking place, then we have to detect the sample. Based on the properties of sample, we have to use the various kind. We have to choose the detector. Various kinds of detectors are there. Later I will explain. Okay. That means UV visible detector, refractive index detector, conductivity detector. Various are there. Then recorder. Then recorder it is used to record the signal of the sample. This is the working principle of HPLC. Simple, solvent reservoir is used to store the mobile phase. Then degasser means used to remove gas or air bubbles which are present in the solvent and mobile phase. Then solvent mixing valve which is used to mix the various kinds of solvent in various proportion to get homogeneous solvent system. Then pump it is used to deliver the mobile phase at high pressure with constant flow rate. Then guard column it is used to protect the analytical column only. And how it will protect means by removing any impurities present in the mobile phase. Then in the guard column there is no separation takes place. Okay. Then it is small in size as compared to analytical column. Then here at the sample injector, here the sample will be injected. At this position both this mobile phase and sample mixed together, they will pass through analytical column. In the analytical column, the sample is separated. The mixture of sample has been separated based on the relative effect towards this stationary phase. Then it will move to the detector. Detector will detect the sample. Based on the properties of sample, we have to choose the detector. Then recorder will record the signal of this sample. This is about working principle of HPLC. Let's see one by one. Okay. First part of instrumentation of HPLC is solvent reservoir. Okay. It is used to store the mobile phase, and two types of solvent reservoirs are there: binary system and quaternary system. Nothing but binary system means two solvent reservoirs, okay, have to be used. Means two solvent bottles. Okay, quaternary system means four solvent reservoirs and four bottles have to be used. Okay, generally we will use this kind. We may also use three kinds of bottles in station system like that. Whenever is required means we need to use three kinds of solvents. Okay, in various proportion. Then, but HPLC grade solvents only we have to use which are high pure. Okay, HPLC grade solvents are we have to use because these solvents are in very high purity. Then this is about solvent reservoir. Then degasser. As I told you that it is used to remove gas or air bubbles present in the mobile phase. Okay, which will interfere with the separation process. Which will interfere with the separation process. Then this degassing is done by three techniques. Either maybe using vacuum filtration or helium purging or ultrasonication. Okay, let's say about vacuum filtration. It removes air bubbles, but it is not always reliable. It removes air bubbles, but it is not always reliable. Means complete air bubbles may not be removed. That is the problem of vacuum filtration. Then helium purging. It removes air bubbles by passing helium through the mobile phase, but helium is expensive. The thing is name itself indicating helium purging. Okay. By passing helium through mobile phase, it will we can remove the gas or air bubbles present in the mobile phase. But the thing is, helium is expensive. Then ultrasonication. It converts ultra high frequency to the mechanical vibration. Due to this, air bubbles or gas present in the mobile phase means it will be removed. This is about degassing. Then solvent mixing valve. Solvent mixing valve. Okay. It is used for mixing the solvents in different proportion to get homogeneous mixture. Used for mixing the solvents in different proportion to get homogeneous mixture. Mixing is done by either static mixing or dynamic mixing. Static or dynamic mixing. Static means which is packed in bits. Dynamic mixing in this we will use magnetic stirrer and operates under high pressure. Generally we will use in the laboratory we will use dynamic mixing. Okay, mixing can be done by either using magnetic stirrer. It operates under high pressure. That is about mixing. Then coming to HPLC pump. Okay, as I told you that the pump is used to deliver the mobile phase at high pressure. Pump is used to deliver the mobile phase at high pressure. That is about 1000 to 4000 Pascal at least at 1 ml per minute flow rate. Most commonly we will apply 1 ml per minute flow rate. Okay, then here based on the operation, pumps are divided into two categories: constant pressure pump, constant flow rate pump. Constant pressure, constant flow rate. Here constant pressure pump, the name itself indicating pressure is constant. Pressure is constant. The pump main thing is deliver the mobile phase at high pressure and with the required flow rate. Here if you use constant pressure pump means the pressure is constant but flow rate may be varied, but which will not give proper separation. If you use constant pressure pump means you may not get proper separation. Then next one is constant flow rate pump. Constant flow rate pump. Flow rate is constant but pressure will be changed. Flow rate is constant but pressure will be changed. Here according to the column resistance. This is mostly used, constant flow rate is mostly used in HPLC. Constant flow rate. The flow rate will be constant in this, okay, in this. But pressure has to be changed based on the resistance of the sample. Generally used HPLC pumps are pneumatic pump, Siemens type pump, okay, reciprocating pump, hydraulic amplifier pump. These four pumps are generally used, okay, in HPLC. This is about HPLC. Then fifth part is coming to guard column. As I explained that guard column, it is used to protect and improves the life of analytical column. Improves the life of analytical column. It is made up of same kind of stationary phase as that of the analytical column. Here, whatever the material made by the analytical column, same material has to use for making of guard column. It also acts as a pre-filter. To remove any impurities present in the mobile phase. Pre-filter means mobile phase has to be passed through analytical column before passing through this. Here if mobile phase consists any impurities, it will be filtered in the guard column. That's why it is acts as a pre-filter. It doesn't contribute any kind of separation. This is important thing. Guard column doesn't separate any kind of separation. Okay, doesn't contribute any kind of separation. There is no separation takes place in the guard column. Only for protecting of analytical column only. And the cost and size of column is low. Okay, if you see the diagram, you can observe it. The size of the column is low as compared to analytical column, and cost is also low. Then sample injector. Different values of sample injectors are available. different values based on the 10 microgram, 10 micron, 10 micron, 10 micron, 10 microliter, 5 microliter, 20 microliters. Based on the requirement, various values of sample injectors are available. Here, these types of sample injectors are septum injector, stop flow septumless injector, Rheodane injector. Here, this injector is most commonly used. Rheodane injector is most commonly employed. Then coming to most important part of HPLC is analytical column. Analytical column. It is most important part of HPLC. Okay, most important because which decides the efficiency of separation. Which decides the efficiency of separation. Separation of components will take place in analytical column only. Here, this column, analytical column material is it may be made up of stainless steel or glass or polyethylene or polyether ether ketone (PEEK). It may be made up of stainless steel or glass or polyethylene or polyether ether ketone (PEEK). Okay, the column, analytical column length is 5 to 30 centimeters and analytical column diameter is 2 to 50 mm and particle size of analytical column is 1 micron to 20 micron and particle nature means stationary phase of in the analytical column is spherical uniform sized porous material. And this is important thing. The functional group present in the stationary phase. Okay, here based on the mode of separation, HPLC is two types: normal phase mode, reverse phase mode. This is very important. Okay, normal phase mode and reverse phase mode. What is the basic difference between normal phase mode and reverse phase mode? In normal phase mode HPLC, the mobile phase having non-polar nature. In but stationary phase is polar in nature. But stationary phase is polar in nature. In reverse phase mode, it is quite opposite to the normal phase. Mobile phase nature is polar, stationary phase nature is non-polar. Here among these two, reverse phase is most widely used. RP-HPLC. RP means reverse phase. RP-HPLC is most widely used because here mobile phase nature is polar. Why? Means actually the most of the components as available in the nature are polar in nature only. Most of the components or samples are available in nature is polar. Here this polar and polar having more affinity towards more affinity. That's why these polar compounds react very early with the along with the mobile phase. If we use normal phase mode means what is the nature of mobile phase? Here non-polar. If the component is having polar, here mobile phase having non-polar means here stationary phase is polar. Here this time the sample having showing more affinity towards the stationary phase because here it is having polar. So this polar stationary phase and polar sample will having more affinity. Due to this reason, here the sample will retain more time in the column. Okay, more time on the column. The separation takes place very higher time as compared to reverse phase mode. Here that's why reverse phase mode is most commonly used. Okay, we will get early peaks. And most of the time in the GPAT question asks that what is the nature of mobile phase nature in reverse phase mode HPLC, then polar, or stationary phase nature is non-polar. You have to keep in mind these four things. Then coming to detector, as I told you that the selection of detectors depends upon the properties of components to be separated. Properties of component to be separated. Here we have several kinds of detectors. Okay, first one UV detector. UV, it is concentration dependent detector. Concentration dependent detector. It is based on the light absorption properties of the sample. Whenever if any sample having light absorption property means UV rays, they have the capability of UV rays absorption property. Then we have to use UV detector only. Most commonly in the laboratory HPLC is coming with UV detector only. Then refractive index detector. Refractive index. If the sample possessing any refractive index property, then we have to use refractive index detector. But it is not much used for analysis because it has low sensitivity and low specificity. Low sensitivity and low specificity. Okay. Here then fluorimetric detector. Fluorimetric means you just see the title of this detector that indicates properties of the sample. Fluorimetric means it is useful when components having fluorescent property. If the component possesses fluorescent ions, fluorescent cations or anions, then we have to use fluorimetric detector. Then conductivity detector. Useful when sample consists conducting anions or conducting cations. Okay, if the sample having conductivity ions, then we have to use conductivity detector. Then amperometric detector. These detectors are useful when sample consists oxidized or reduced functional groups. In the examination, GPAT question may be asked. If the sample possesses oxidizing element or reducing functional group, which of the detector has to be used in HPLC means, then you have to choose amperometric detector. Okay, if the sample possessing light absorption properties, then you have to choose UV detector. That is the thing. Then photodiode detector, photodiode array, short form PDA. Okay, this one I already explained in one of my video, that is UV visible detectors. There you can see it. Okay, it is similar to the UV detectors, but it operates at 190 to 600 nanometer. It gives 3D spectra. Photodiode array detector gives 3D spectra because, okay, what is the 3D spectra? Because it gives response versus time versus wavelength. So this is the detectors. So this is the overview of the principle and instrumentation of HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. Okay, thank you. If you have any doubts regarding this video, regarding this concept, you can ask in the comment box. Thank you very much.